Okay, let's get this show on the road. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back to my stream. I'm Pierre, your host. I hope you're having a great day, great morning, great evening, wherever you are. So my friends, let's do like we always do. Let's go over to the computer. Let's check out what we did yesterday, and then we'll tackle our day from there. So what did we do yesterday? Well, we worked on putting a second coat to our frame of that black paint, and then we tackled our centerpiece. We did the background to our nuclear towers and then the yellow background around them. Just like that. So that was what we did the other day. So what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to start off by putting the second coat of the yellow paint. Then I'm going to do the outlines to the towers first, and then I'm going to tackle the details and finish the bottom part. I'm starting like that just so I don't put my hand in the paint as we go down. If I started down here, it would be a pain in the neck afterwards. So that is how organized I am. Anyways, so I'm kind of anxious to do that. Once this is finished, then tomorrow we will tackle our frame, which in my mind is a total different painting. So that's what we will do tomorrow. So I'm going to grab some of this beautiful, what is it? I just called it golden yellow. They call it Azo Yellow Medium. But it is a beautiful yellow. I just love this color. So I have that. What am I going to use? I'm going to use this brush, I think. A very soft-haired brush, because the point of the second coat is really to get rid of all the brush strokes of that first coat. So before I mix a little water with our paint, I am just going to clean off my knife. So everything okay here? Didn't forget to turn on the microphone, apparently not, so very good. So let's get some water in this paint and I'll just blend the whole thing together. Now, of course, if I was mixing several colors, I would probably go to camera number 1 and we would do this together. But just to do what I'm doing now, it's really not that exciting. It's not that difficult to do. So just a wince there, just a little bit more water. This is pretty thick. There we go. Okay, very good. So I am going to set this down for a second, and I'm going to go grab camera number 1, which will bring closer. There we go. So like that, we can follow everything that I'm doing. I'm also moving a lot of my paint brushes to the back of my workbench because I don't want to have like paint splatter and get on the hairs of my brushes. It's happened several times. I've noticed that. Oops. For example, on this brush, if you look carefully, you can see that I have red paint all over here that got splattered. Fortunately, it hasn't hurt the brush any, but still, that's the kind of thing I want to avoid. So, and by pushing my brushes towards the back of the workbench, I should avoid that problem, and at the meantime, I can even clean it off. So that's taken care of. Let me go grab camera number 1 and bring it a little closer. We can say that we are in the hot middle of summer because it is toasty today. I have the fan on. I have it on medium. There. That should be cool. And even with the fan on, I am hot, hot, hot. Get my hair out of the way. Let me wipe my hands off here. Making a mess, and I haven't even started to paint yet. There we go. So, let's get to camera number 1 here for a close-up. And let's get to work. There's no need for me to get too close to anything because there will be a lot of details on top of all this. Keep saying there's no need for me to get too close, but yet that's what I'm doing for some reason. There we go. I'm already out of this yellow paint. Barely made enough. Fortunately, just enough to cover the whole thing. So usually on my backgrounds, I put some shadowing to give it a little depth and richness. I'm not sure I'm going to do that with this painting. To be honest with you, I kind of like the solid color. We'll see. So, there we go, a little finger painting. So I'm just going to bring the fan a little closer so that the paint will dry faster. Because now I'm going to do the outlines and finish off the 2 towers. I mean, this obviously is going to be a very short stream today. With this heat, it's not a big deal. What am I looking for? I don't know. A palette. There we go. So here's a palette. Black paint right here. And just like before, I'm going to have to work it with some water to get it to be the right consistency for me to paint with, so it glides on beautifully. So I can make quite a bit of paint here because I am going to need a little bit. There we go. So that looks like plenty to start off with. I will see afterwards. Again, cleaning off the knife. God, my rag is getting full very quickly. I have a problem of running out of rags. So let me just stand in front of the fan as well. Ooh, that does feel good. Very good. Boy, does that feel good. So while I'm here, I might as well get the camera ready for the next step. There we go. And what am I doing? I'm putting this away. And I have to find the right paintbrush. And assume that I'm going to use this for one part of it, and then I'm going to use a wider one for the next part, which could be either this one or that one. I'll try this one. So let me put these two guys to soak. There we go. I will use this wider brush just to mix in the water. Again, I'm not going to do this on camera because really it's not that interesting. It's black paint with water, blending the whole thing so it's a little more liquid, so it spreads on the canvas better, easier, but black paint on a black background of my palette really is not that interesting. So I'm just going to blend all this so it has the consistency of maybe like a thick ink would be the ideal consistency, texture for this, for what I want to do. Just gonna, I think it needs a little more water, and that looks awfully, awfully thick. There you go. And I'll come back here to the fan again, because it does feel nice. Oof. Okay, so this paint looks like it's ready to go. Well, just a little bit there. Just a little bit more. Not far from what I like it to be. God, I should be at the beach right now instead of sweating bullets in the studio, but at the same time I enjoy painting so much. Okay, so this looks pretty good. So let's pull out the two brushes I just wet. And I'm going to start with the thinner of the two brushes first. I'm going to get rid of the excess water, squeezing the brush under my armpit. Okay, so let's tackle this. Let's tackle this painting. I'm going to start with the top part, and for that I'm going to just zoom in a little bit, just like that. Then I will switch brushes once the top part is done. Just like that. And I'll pull the camera back just a little bit like that. I like leaving thin up here and just going thicker and thicker as I come down, which is why I'm going to switch brushes right now. Switch brushes so I can go down and get really nice and thick, just like that. All right. good. There we go. Very good. Now to tackle the main part of the building, I am going to have to make a dark gray first, and then I will use the black paint. So again, I'm going to grab some of this black paint that I will mix from the paint from yesterday. Blend these guys in together. Go. And before I do that, again, cleaning off the knife, keeping the materials nice and clean. So let's just blend in a little bit of this gray, dark gray. So I am going to need a little more paint than what I have. So let me grab some more of this black paint from earlier. There we go. By going with this dark gray first and then the black afterwards, this dark gray will be like a shadow to the black. And that's why I like having this, doing this first. So I am going to bring my chair closer as well. There we go. I'm going to zoom in with camera number 1 as well. And I'm going to just switch over. And let's tackle these shadows right here. That's right, we want it to be kind of chaotic. Like I say, we're going to go over this with some black in a few seconds, but this will just make like a little shadow. Some depth. There we go. That. Here as well, and then 1/3, another one right here. Very good. So all this is going very quickly. I'll get the camera ready for the next step. Rinse off my brushes because I'll be using these brushes again. So I do want to use a black, nice dark black on top of this. So rinse off the brush so that I get rid of all the gray. And am I going to have enough black left over here? I think I do. I think this will suffice. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. There's something bothering me. It's right in here though. Let me step back and take a look at this. Well, I'm going to worry about that later. So let's get back to our main painting here. And again, I'm going to grab my chair, switch over to camera number 1. Where am I? I'm on camera number 2. Let's switch to number 1. Let's tackle this next part right here. Just like that. Destruction of civilization, which I hope never happens. But I can't help worrying about it. My nature. When I think it's been like what, almost 40 years that I've been painting and worried about the rainforest and climate control and everything. 40 years and seeing nothing happening except now when it's maybe probably too late. It really breaks my heart. There we go. Chaos and destruction. Good, let me move my chair over a little bit. And the cameraman as well. And the camera, maybe zoom in a little bit just for a little change. I'm gonna step back, take a look as well from afar. Okay, very good. And you know what, while I'm standing up, if you don't mind, just gonna go over here and have a little sip of water. Chin chin, as they say in France. So yesterday we had a whole bunch of high school girls from the US, from all over, from Washington, D.C., all the way to Connecticut, to Texas, visit. They're all in Nice till the end of July to learn French. I guess they were, what, 15, 16 years old? So they made a little tour of the whole building and they kind of loved it. That was fun for them and fun for us as well. So I'm going to return back to the painting. Let's go back to camera number 1. There we go. And smooth it over so we can pick up where we left off up here. There we go. Now, my larger paintings, I would splatter this on with my hands, my fingers. But the paintbrush is doing the job just fine. Oh. Very good. this part right here. There we go. So this painting is totally different than what I usually do, I must admit. Never painted a triangle as a centerpiece. I never use this kind of a reddish background, which is a magenta, what was it, azo? I think so, I'm not sure now. But it was given to me, so I've never really used it before. So, and it goes for the same with all these leaves, colors of these leaves, all different kinds of turquoise, turquoise green, turquoise blue. A lot of new stuff. And actually these turquoise leaves I love very much. I love that color. So I'm sure I'm going to be using it again. Maybe use it as a background. Who knows? All right, very good. Now, I'm going to finish off that triangle. Let me pull this baby back a little bit. There we go. So for that, I'm going to just make a little more black paint. Oh, the paint is so thick. You would think that with the heat, it would have a tendency to thin out instead of getting thicker. I don't know. Maybe because it's evaporating the water or the polymer emulsion, which is the binder of these pigments. I don't know. Maybe it's just my imagination as well. Who knows? So, anyways, got the knife done. What brush am I going to use? Maybe this one, or no, not that one. Maybe this one. So let me work this black paint again with some water so that it's a little more liquid and that I have a better control over it. And then starting tomorrow, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be working on the frame. And that is going to be, from what I have in mind, is going to be a lot of gold. And it's going to be kind of boring and tedious. Well, boring for the watcher, not for me, because I enjoy it. But it's going to be a long session tomorrow. And tomorrow being Thursday, I guess I'll be on Facebook rather than on YouTube. And being Thursday also, my stream will be in French. On Thursdays, I do my stream in French since I'm living in France. It only makes sense that once in a while, or once a week, I should say, really, because I do it every Thursday, that I do my show in French, and I usually do it either on the website of our building here called Le Pigeonnier, which means the pigeon coop. Because before we opened up this place, this building was empty for like 20 years and was just full of pigeons and pigeon shit on every floor because the windows were open. In the old part of Nice, since these buildings were built in the 6th, 17th century, all the windows in the hallways where the staircase is, there's no windows. So all the pigeons come in through there. And I guess they did that on purpose, just maybe to kind of create some sort of a draft, either to keep out the humidity in the wintertime or to keep the coolness in the summertime. I can only think of those two reasons. So anyways, we got rid of the pigeons, we cleaned up all the pigeon shit, and we opened up our studios, and this was 17 years ago. So, and honestly, I forgot why I started talking about the pigeon and whatnot. What was the point of my... I think this is just a little too thick. I'm going to add one more big drop of water, maybe 2 big drops of water. So this looks nice and creamy. This looks pretty good. So let me just step back and take a look at this. What I'm doing here. Okay, so let's try this out then. So I'll switch back to camera number 1 first, maybe. There we go. Okay, got this first part done. This needs to be just a little bit thicker over here. Well, I'll do that in a few seconds. Let me just get, first of all, my chair down here. And I'll get this lower part done. Let me bring this, camera a little closer and I'll zoom in for the last few inches. Like that, I'll have some materials for my recap movie. Just like that. Pull this back a little bit like that. I am going to have to now get it all to basically the same size. So I got to make this a little bit thicker. Just like that. Okay, let me step back now, see how all this looks. Okay, doesn't look too bad. Now let's just work it and bring it into. Not too bad at all. Just going to make this right-hand side. Oops. This would be better if everybody could see. Let me just work this side here now. Make this just a little bit thicker as well. A little wider. So how does that look? Wow, I hate to say it, but it doesn't look that bad. Right down here, maybe, where you really want to make it. That looks pretty damn good. Up here as well. So, how does that look now? Okay, doesn't look bad. I am going back to what I was saying earlier, to my towers, just to make the whole thing. I couldn't do anything because I was waiting for the paint to dry, but now I'm going to go back and try to just make this left-hand side a little bit better right here. And when it dries, it will be a lot less noticeable. And there we go. There we go. Now I feel much better. I know it's a little bit silly, but I can't help it. So let me move this fan back a little bit, just like that. So I can move camera number, where am I here anyways? I am still on camera number 1. So let me just pull camera number 1 back a little bit so we can have the whole painting. Take a little look from afar, what it looks like. So that's what it looks like from camera number 2. And then from camera number 1. There we go. So there you have it, my friends. So once again, thank you for joining me today for this fairly short stream. What is it, like 47 minutes? Okay, that's pretty decent. I hope you'll join me tomorrow on Facebook. We'll be here at 9 a.m. Eastern Time or at 3 p.m. if you're in France. Our show is going to be in French. It's a good time to brush up. And so I'm going to leave you like usual with 2 things. I'm going to leave you with my my schedule for, well, it's basically the same schedule every day, but still, it's a nice way for me to end. And also by saying, ciao mes amis.